Hey guys, Rock2011 here for Southeast Texas Gaming, showing you deck tech over my White Weenie deck that I've been playing. It's a list that won, I believe, one of the states competitions that I found online, and I've been liking it a lot. So basically, what draws me to White Weenie is I have an unhealthy obsession with casting Brave the Elements, which is just an amazing card. Basically, what this does is you name a color, and white creatures you control have protection from the color that you choose until the end of turn. So that acts as a counter spell for pretty much any removal spell. It acts as an overrun effect in this deck, and I just can't say enough about the card. It's amazing. We're also running 4 Boros Charms here just for Wrath protection and also that late game reach. Uh, Pretty much does a bunch of things that you want it to do. You hardly ever use the double strike mode, but definitely the 4 damage to a player and indestructibility are used all the time. Uh, so then we get to our Savannah Lions. We have 4 Soldier of the Pantheon, 4 Dryad Militant, and then we also have 3 Judges Familiar. And honestly, after playing the deck, I think maybe adding another Judges Familiar wouldn't be the worst. It's so good in the Esper and Mono Black matchups. The Mono Black matchup, you turn 1 Judges Familiar, you basically turn their first removal spell, like misdirect it to Judges Familiar, and just can't say enough about it. That's really good effect to have. 4 Mutavaults, because basically we're running a 1 color deck splashing Boros Charm, so the red is not. The mana constraints are pretty easy, so Mutavault's solid. It's a 2/2 creature, 3/3 with Spear. Daring Skyjack, surprisingly really good. The flying is often relevant. You can get multiple Skyjacks out, plus the Judge's Familiar, and if they can't block the evasion, then they're taking 7 a turn, or with Spear, 10 a turn, which obviously doesn't take a whole lot. Imposing Sovereign, very good, especially against like the mono black and like green-red decks. Just getting that extra turn with a Nose coming into play tapped or a Desecration Demon coming into play tapped, it can be the difference between winning and losing the game. Precinct Captain, a little first strike, makes 1/1s, pretty solid. Good in like the mono red matchups if they don't remove it. Really good against Esper, because you don't have to overcommit. You can just use your 1 threat to make a bunch of 1/1s, and one of a Johnny Call of the Pride, you get a second one on the board. Just take a little bit more reach. The -3, or just making your creatures a little bit bigger so they can combat. Banisher Priest, really good, obviously, in the green matchups. In the black matchup, I saw it a lot of times because I don't want to get 2 for 1 with removal by instant speed, destroy Banisher Priest, and then block something with the Desecration Demon. And then 3 Spears, which is just kind of the glue that makes the... Actually, they aren't necessary to win, but like anytime you have a Spear, you feel like you're way ahead. Just, the removal capability, destroy a creature that dealt damage to you, and giving everything all your creatures +1/+1 is pretty huge. So we have obviously our curve tops out at 3. We got a bunch of 2s and a bunch of 1s. So we're just trying to get in there as fast as possible and just get the opponent to 0. In the sideboard, we've got Pacifisms. This is good against the green and black decks. Desecration Demon. Put a Pacifism on it, don't have to worry about it more. Glare of Heresy, good against like Esper decks, especially. The Mirror, Boros Reckoners. In the Esper decking can kill Elspeth, Detention Spear, a lot of stuff. Wear Tear, I'm considering probably removing this from the sideboard. I haven't used it in a lot. Like I said, the most common enchantments that we're removing are going to be like Chain to the Rocks and Detention Sphere, which are both white. So I usually don't side this in against like black for Underworld connections, because if they're winning themselves at that point, then they're pretty close to dead. Pithing Needle is really necessary in the sideboard, because when your curve tops out at 3, all your creatures have very low tough. Like nothing in the deck has a power over 3. So if they land at Jace and +1 it, like that can just make all your creatures 1 tough or 1 power, and it devastates your board. So you really need to stop Jace. Ratchet Bomb, Mono Blue. This usually comes in against Master Waves tokens. Boris Charm, that last one for the Esper matchup. Bring it in, counter to their Supreme Verdicts. Mizzy Mortars against, you really need against those 4 toughness creatures that are tough for the white stuff to tangle with. So things like Blood Baron of Escapa and Stormbreath Dragon is where Mizzy Mortars is really important. The other Johnny, just kind of for those grindy matchups, whenever you're just going to land one creature and win the game with it, is when you like to bring in the second Johnny. And then the Fiend Slayer Paladins are for the mono red and mono black, just when you want a creature that can't be hit with their removal unless it's like a Devour Flesh, and that life gain is relevant to make the game go a little bit longer. So that's the mono white deck. I've been having a lot of fun playing it, just because, like I said, I really enjoy casting Brave the Elements. It just does everything that I want to do playing a game of Magic. So I'm about to run this deck through an 8-man. Hopefully we show you some interesting matchups, and yeah, enjoy. Thanks for watching.